and now it's moving towards it. So
Okay. Okay.
okay, I think we might be live. Hello, hello. I'm gonna double check and I see us live. So hello, welcome everybody to the very first premiere episode of Evolve with Teri Gosselin. I'm Teri and I'm an inner peace alchemist and divine channel and creator of the Soul Glow movement. I serve as a healing guide, alchemizing emotional, mindset, physical, and spiritual pain for heart-centered men and women so that they can reclaim their personal power, ignite their passion, and activate their purpose and zest for life again. And so let's talk a little bit about introducing this talk show. As Robert Frost said, the only way out is through. And this is the exact premise for this talk show, to have the very conversations that the world is craving at this time, to ignite and breathe life around transformation. Conversations that embrace the whole you, conversations that showcase the alchemization of pain to personal power, passion, and purpose, and those conversations that leave you feeling seen, heard, witnessed, and inspired to activate to your next level. These are the conversations that are our future and ready to heal. So let's connect and evolve together. So I'm so excited. This is the very first episode, and tonight we have Jessica Rousseau. Jessica is an Ayurvedic health counselor and yoga teacher with over 10 years of practice. She stepped on her mat in 2009 and she never left. In 2011, she discovered the healing power of Ayurveda, and in 2019 completed her 750-hour training to become a counselor. Her years on the mat, in the kitchen, and growing babies has led her to create a safe haven for mamas who want to feel good in their skin. So let's all welcome Jessica and have a chat. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, thank you, thank you.
We are so excited to have you here. Yay.
Yay.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get into this just a bit. I absolutely love your mission. As a mama of two little boys and someone who had postpartum depression, what you do is so important. And I just love that you have created this safe haven for moms to just be able to know who they are, not just as a mom, but as themselves. So tell us a little bit about your journey to get to this point.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I have to say what a huge honor it is to be on the very first episode. So thank you. Super so cool. Okay. So a little bit about my journey. How did I go from not mom to now mom and like all the healthy stuff? Yes. So I was very, very, very fortunate to get a solid 10 years of single life. I often say I was footloose and fancy free, and then I met the guy who would become my husband.
I love it.
And we became fast friends, and then best friends, and then inseparable, and we just had the most spectacular 1 year of our life. And then he asked me to marry him, and it surprised me. It caught me off guard. And yeah, and then I got pregnant that night.
What a celebration.
Yeah.
Love
so
it.
I'm very fortunate that that happened so quickly and so easily for us. It all felt very like yes. All of the yeses. But I was not at a place to give up my identity as a not mom.
Yeah.
Right. I was not
it's a
really
big
change as it turns out. And I was not expecting to really ever have children. It was not really in my plan. So when I learned, here's Ruby. I call her my teaching assistant.
Oh, well, hello, Ruby. Thank you for joining us.
She'll be in and out. So when I got pregnant, like everything changed, my body changed, my hormones changed. Suddenly just everything changed. Everything.
Like in overnight, literally overnight.
Literally overnight. He put a ring on it. The next day I was mom. Like, yeah. So I was dealing with like the physical changes and like, why is my sense of smell so crazy? And why can I only eat Cheetos? And
yeah,
but I love Ayurveda. So I got really, really focused on my mat, on my yoga mat. And I just like, okay, yoga's going to help get me through this. And so it was the yoga practice that helped me learn how to change like with my growing body.
I love that.
Right. Like everything was, my balance changed, my twists changed. I couldn't do Shavasana on my back anymore. And so that was a tremendous opportunity to say like, okay, well, my yoga practice has to change. It just kind of helped get me ready for how life changes as a mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like just the constant change of it. Because, you get used to being pregnant. Then you have a baby. You get used to having a baby. Then the baby grows. You get used to having a baby. Then it turns into a toddler.
And you never really get used to the mouthing off. So there's that.
No, there's always something that's going to catch you like, whoa. Always. And so, things like physically learning, like knowing how to physically stand strong and tall. So like when my kids are like all over me, it's like, okay, I'm going to use this as core work. Yeah, all right.
I love that so much that you've been able literally to evolve and like adapt your practice into fitting it around being a mom, keeping and retaining like who you are, and then showing other people how to do the same too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because change is the only constant, and like nothing shows you that more than motherhood.
100%.
And that's the beauty of yoga and Ayurveda is, so Ayurveda being yoga's sister science, or sometimes known as yoga's lifestyle medicine. So we eat different things at different seasons because we're changing and we're evolving, and our bodies have these different needs and different requirements. And so, okay, you just go with the flow, and having this way of like being really set and solid in your own body. Yeah. So that you don't just go woo, like off into the ether. You can always come back.
Yes. I love that. So I love that you shared a little bit more about Ayurveda. That was actually going to be my next question, because probably I'm familiar with it, but I'm not super versed in it. And I'm sure a number of people are not. So I'd love to hear like how, for example, you mentioned about the eating and like the seasonal changes too, and how you can eat like that, and the science of the body. So can you share a little bit about some tips in that area, like especially with nutrition, how to integrate all of that? And then, even I guess now, because we're just newly into fall, right? So like, is there, with the seasonal change, is there a shift in that for, all of us? But then, specifically, I know you've worked with a lot of mamas. So what does that look like?
Oh, that's maybe one of my most favorite things to talk about. Is like Ayurveda and fall specifically.
Well, fall, it's like coming home to your soul in the fall. All the cozy things, right?
It really is. It really, really, really is. Yes. So Ayurveda it takes this really beautiful, holistic view of life and the seasons, and it's actually the oldest known medicine that we have written in human history. So it's a 4,000-year-old modality for living a healthy, full, vibrant life.
Oh, so good.
So good.
So good.
So much to look into here. Yes. So it's not, because it's so old and so deep, it works with prevention, which I'm going to come to in just a second, but it also works with disease maintenance, like just managing the healing process.
I love we're talking about this, because one of the things, and people, you know, if they've been following my work too, and my own journey, you know, along the way, like there was a lot of emotional distress, and then it becomes if you don't process it, which I'm a huge proponent of, it gets stuck in the physical body. And so all of this is beautiful. It sounds like beautiful medicine that you can give yourself and do for yourself for your own healing. And so I'm so excited to talk and learn more about this.
Yeah. So you know the saying, food is medicine, or let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food.
Yes.
That's where Ayurveda is. So because it's focused on the continual change of things and how to do so gracefully. Ayurveda follows the patterns of the sun, right? The seasons change. The days grow longer, they peak, they grow shorter, the night peaks, then the days grow longer. So that's going to change what our bodies need. So there's a reason why pumpkin spice everything is like, people lose their minds. It's like September 1st.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm guilty. Totally.
Totally. And like, even if you were to see something pumpkin spice in like May, you'd be like, ooh, I know I really like it, but it doesn't sound good.
It doesn't feel like it's the right time. Yeah.
No. And so it's like that with literally everything. I'm talking like the colors that you wear, the things that you listen to, the food that you put in your body, the way you cook, everything. So when you begin to like really honor the seasonal changes that our bodies, our ancient bodies that happen to be living in a modern world, but our ancient bodies crave to move along with the seasons, then you can say like, oh yes, what are the spices in this pumpkin spice everything? Maybe I'll spend a little time getting to know cardamom right now. Oh, maybe clove. Maybe some cinnamon. And so in that way, like when you slow down and you really dive into the beauty of the moment, that change is calling forth.
Yeah. So potent. And it's like all of a sudden, as you're talking about, like pulling out the you know, the pieces of like the cardamom and the cinnamon, and like really like, you know, really finding out what that medicine is individually for you, and why are you craving it? What is it doing for you? Aside from bringing all the comfort, which is super important. But you're absolutely right. And I didn't think about it like that. And I love that so much.
Yeah, it's really fun. And so then you know, so much of Ayurveda, especially now that we're entering the fall season, so much of it is about slowing down and just taking in what's going on so that you can process, metabolize, and keep what you need, and then let go of that which you don't.
Yes.
So this is usually the point where I start to talk about poop.
I think it's important we talk about it. Digestion and all of the other pieces to it are incredibly important.
It really is. So when you really bring attention to what's going on with your physical daily elimination patterns, and you get really familiar with, oh, okay, I see a pattern, then you can begin to look at what's going on with your mental and emotional elimination patterns.
I love that.
Yeah. And then you're grounded in a place to be able, like, okay, as long as I have my good solid poop, then I can start exploring and clearing out what needs to go.
Absolutely. I love that. And I've not ever thought about it like that before. So I absolutely love that we're talking about this, honestly. And actually, this is where I would throw in that this is a beautiful time to like track this stuff, guys. like take the opportunity, just, a note in your phone or a journal, because this will help as you're tracking just your own, like, you might be tracking what you eat every day anyway. This is an opportunity to track how much water you're drinking, like what your elimination looks like, and then also what's going on, like with your mindset, with your emotions, how you're physically feeling. And all of that ties beautifully together for that more holistic, whole kind of health picture for yourself.
Definitely. And that's the thing that really kept me grounded into Ayurveda, because it's very easy for me to just hang out in my head and
Me
just
too.
play with and just, what happens if I go here? What happens if I go here?
Yes.
What happens if I go here? But I found, for me personally, that the most impactful healing and evolution that I was able to tap into happened like from my gut.
Yes. There is like, it's so interesting how much your gut, and honestly, your physical body will tell you about what's going on with you. And so people, I feel like, because we're in this life where we're so fast paced and everything is go, go, go. And this beautiful practice of slowing down, especially during the season, kind of going inward and connecting with yourself, is so important to really like find out, like, what is my body telling me? If I'm missing the clues because I'm going all the time, and now maybe my stomach is in knots all of the time, or I'm constipated, or I have other issues going on and I'm getting sick physically all the time. I have to call out of work for a week because I've been going too much. Kids go here, got stuff going on at work, whatever the situation is. That this is such a beautiful, beautiful practice to really get intentional and find out, what is it that my body's trying to tell me?
Yeah, it's very cool, and it's never ending too. Right? Because we're constantly eating.
Yes.
Thank God. We're constantly dealing with new stimulus and new thoughts and new patterns. And so on the one hand, you can look at it and say like, oh my God, it never ends. Well, aren't we lucky?
Yeah. And it's really like shifting into that, like, actually, how amazing that we have all these tools within us already to be able to explore and really understand, or if we don't know the answer, like, to do the work and like dig in and try and understand what's going on. And it's not always about like the next fad diet, right? To figure out, like, right? Exactly.
No.
It's really figuring out, like, what do I actually need? What is missing from my, maybe it's a mineral or a vitamin or some sort of nutrient that the body it needs to shift the metabolism in a new direction, shift the mindset to get clear and less foggy, all those things.
Yes. So I love to use this analogy. Okay, so in Ayurveda, there are 3 different like mind body types, and they also correlate to the seasons, and they also correlate to seasons of life. And they're called the doshas. So there's Vata dosha, which is like air and ether, the fall season, or if you want to look at like a Vata dosha type person, that's David Bowie.
Okay.
Like super creative, right? Like every time you see him, you're like, what is actually going on here? It's like divinely inspired.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're in the Vata season now. There's the Pitta dosha. And so Pitta is like fire. It's basically everybody who lives in Washington, D.C., like leaders, captains of industry, people who really dig all things organization and mechanical and like making it go. Right.
Got it. Yes.
So I like to, so summertime also, because we've got all the heat of the long days. For a mind body type, I like to point to Steve Jobs.
Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Right? Dude changed the world.
Yeah,
with his
100%
brain.
Yeah.
Right? He's amazing. And then we've got the Kapha dosha. So this is like earthy, watery, springtime season, like fertile growth, just like possibilities are endless in Kapha dosha. And so I like to point to Oprah here.
Yes.
Right. She's
Absolutely.
very earthy. Right. Yes. She's
change the world, like all the possibilities, the transformation, all the things.
Yes. So we eat according to not only the season, right? So we're following the cues of the sun and the seasons, but also by what is our type? What's our makeup?
Right? I love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
and how do you align? I guess how do you align that? Like, how do you? Is it like connected to like? I'm an astrology. Like, I've been studying astrology for the last year, so I love that stuff. And I'm like, is it connected somehow to that?
Well, there's an Indian astrology called Jyotish, but I'm not familiar with it at all. But I mean, there's a fun rabbit hole to
total rabbit hole. Sounds good to
go
me.
down.
I love
Jyotish.
that.
Yes. Yes. So I'm not sure how Jyotish, or even like what we recognize to be the Western zodiac, I'm not sure how that aligns.
Okay.
Because honestly, I'm not that familiar with the zodiac.
Oh yeah, totally fine.
Because like I said, I gotta live in my body, because like I know myself, I am a Vata Pitta body type, which means, you know, like you see I've got like long skinny fingers, skinny little wrists. You could see like I've got this really weirdly long neck. Like, these are Vata characteristics. When I had my babies, just to bring it back around to motherhood. Yeah. So when I was pregnant, I was not able to gain weight. Like a Vata body type doesn't hang on to weight. Okay. Typically. Okay. And so like I couldn't, no matter what I did, it was just like, it would just, you think about like leaves flowing in the wind. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing sticks. Interesting. So when I had my babies, I you know, bounced back, so they say, to the point that you could see like my bones. Oh, wow. Here, you know, I had like these bones with these massive milky boobs. It was very, very, very awkward. I was not happy in that particular body. But so this was telling me at that time, this is Vata on top of Vata on top of Vata on top of Vata. So how do we balance that? Yes. So for me, it was like really, and I would recommend this for anybody who has a weight struggle in this direction, which we don't commonly see as a weight problem, but it is. Right. So that would be like eating like really, really healthy, good fats, like ghee, olive oil, butter. Yes. All those things. All the things that are just going to make you go woof. So a lot of starches, a lot of, you know, animal protein. Meat is great healing food for Vata body types, particularly in the Vata season. Mm-hmm. Like grounding root vegetables, you know, just the food that's going to make you go, yeah. 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 I totally, yes. Makes total sense. Oh, I love that. Well, and so then we can shift into the Pitta season, right? So for us now, in where we are in the calendar year, it would be going back. So just remembering where you were a couple of months ago. And like that really heavy stuff that it's not going to feel good. You're probably going to have belly aches because it's going to be like too much fat, too heavy. So at that time, and particularly if you're like a Pitta body type, so if you've got like very angular or heart-shaped face, a very athletic build, very competitive, organized mind, you're gonna, especially in the summertime, in the Pitta season, the best medicine for you is going to be things like coconut, lime, cilantro, mint, cucumbers, melon, you know, just like all that sounds amazing. Right? Yeah. Like really refreshing, lightening, brightening. Yes. Right.
Yeah. These really
So
activating kinds of foods that like, you're right, like really refreshing. You take it in but it activates something.
yeah, it helps to clean your blood. So
Yeah.
foods like this are really supportive for your liver, which is super taxed if you're a pitta person.
Yes.
I don't know, but this is getting anatomy nerdy.
I love it.
I do too. It's so fun in there. And then finally, how does kapha make food as medicine, and like when and how do you know? So kapha body type is going to have like larger bone structure. Maybe like a kapha woman would be often called like buxom or voluptuous, right?
Yes.
Like there's just a va-va-voom,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember her name in Mad Men. The redhead.
I didn't see the show, but I know exactly who you're talking about from photos. Yeah.
Right. Christina Hendricks. She's just
oh, yes.
whoa, massively curvy.
Yes.
So springtime is the season for kapha. So a person like that is probably going to feel maybe automatically a little more weighed down, a little more cabin fever. So as the seasons begin to just start to bloom, then they can really, really fire it up, right? They can eat the spicy food. They can eat all the salads that they want, even though they probably don't want to. Kapha people don't tend to like salads very much. Again,
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. But if you eat it at the right time, then you're like, oh, actually, that does make me feel super good.
Yeah.
And I suddenly don't have like the sinus congestion or like that cough thing that comes like every April or whatever it is. Right?
So interesting. Oh my gosh. I love this so much.
It's fun.
It is fun. And it's really amazing. Like there's truly so much out there for anybody to go down a rabbit hole and learn, clearly, because this is like been incredibly enlightening for me to learn and get more. And I'm someone, I was a bio major, but it's different. Yeah. So my background is scientist by training, technically. So I love this stuff, but it's like, you know what you know, and like you can explore and learn little things here and there, but to hear it from this sense is just really fascinating. And you can really feel like the elements too of how the connection of like a spiritual connection to it as well. So I think like that's why it's like really like, this feels amazing when we're talking about like the grounding piece and like where we are right now and the foods that you would want to gravitate towards. And so the body type piece is really, really cool to learn about and kind of get a better sense of. It's really neat.
Yeah, it's lots and lots and lots.
It's lots, but it's so rad. I love it so much. So thank you so much for sharing more about that. It's been really, really amazing. And I cannot wait to dig in and learn more about that.
Cool.
So I also want to chat about, because this has been a hugely transformational, like 6 months for you, for not just yourself, but for your business. Many people have been in this pandemic, and there have been, highs and lows for everybody, of course. But I think that there have been a lot of amazing things that have also come out of this time where people have gone inward and really been able to focus on a new direction and what they really want to be doing. And I know for you, this has been something that after 6 years is something that you put something out that you've been wanting to bring out. And I'd love for you to share more about that with us.
Yes. Yeah. So it seems like in March, the word for March was pivot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody suddenly went,
yes, like, what does this mean now? What is this life?
I guess I'm working online all the time now.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And so I went from in-person classes, seeing clients one-to-one, like starting to really just enjoy my community.
Yeah, absolutely.
To like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to do everything online. So I just dug in right there, and I've been doing all sorts of, various online programming and virtual consultations and Zoom yoga classes and yoga in the park. And the big thing that you talked about, that you alluded to, is my course that has been 6 years in the making, called Mojo Rising.
It's such a good name.
It is Mojo Rising.
Yes. Get those inflections in there.
It's really hard to not like badly sing it like Jim Morrison. Like I want to, but it doesn't sound right when it comes out of my mouth. No. I'll let you think that I can do it accurately. I can't. But so, like I said at the beginning of this call, I went from like solidly in my own identity as the single, but like with a boyfriend, but like I had a really solid grasp on my sexual life, my sexual identity, my preferences, everything was just like, yes, I was in it. And then that was the first thing to go when I got pregnant. I was just like, nope.
Yes.
I don't know how this works with a thing growing inside of me. So no.
Everything just it feels weird and looks weird and you just don't feel good. And it's,
right. And if
interesting time.
Yes. And if you happen to put that particular lotion on in the morning, then it was like, I can't see you at all for the rest of the day because it makes me physically nauseous. And I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me. And so it affects your sex drive.
Totally.
And it affects your sex life. And then after you have the baby, then everything's physically, emotionally, mentally very weird for a long time.
Absolutely.
And yet we're cleared to go back and like, okay, we'll have rolls in the hay at 6 weeks.
Right.
Well, but
yeah. Yes.
But she's sleeping there and and then it was very awkward. And so, like in the same time that I went from single to like married with a baby, essentially overnight, I went from like sexually vivacious to like suddenly like, no. And I lost that part of me. And I realized that in losing that, I lost this piece of myself that was, it was like my connection to me. It was my sexual identity that was a lot of self-discovery. And I didn't want it to just go away just because I was a mom.
Yeah.
And so that's where Mojo Rising started to come from. And I was like, well, okay, I have the yoga piece. I've got the Ayurveda piece. This kid's hanging out here all the time. This guy has stuck around, even though I've gone through all of these changes. And poor guy feels like I bait and switched him, From being like, yeah, I'm down to like, no.
We have a baby.
She's gonna cry, and she did like every time. So I was like, okay, yes. And so what happened through the course of this pandemic is that I'm like, okay, well, I have been doing my own Mojo Rising work, which is I called it like my internal project. It was like Project Mojo Rising.
Oh my God, I love that.
Right. So I went to see my own sex coach. I did pelvic floor physical therapy. I really dug into like, what's the yoga and Ayurvedic perspective of sexuality and sex and how to sustain it and how to use it as a healing modality rather than just sex. Like it's so much more.
Right.
And so that's what I did. I put all of my experience into an 8-week course.
That's so rad.
To help moms reclaim their sexual identity and the sexual evolution.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to make it like this taboo thing, right? Either. And that's, I think sometimes too, when you lose your identity, however, but then especially as a mom, when you come to this place, it's like, well, now it's like, I don't know. And then what if they hear something, or what if they, obviously not as a baby, but
no, but right.
But right. And then it's like, well, we shouldn't, do anything. And it kind of goes back to even just for women, and, kind of keeping quiet about it and just being there and like all this stuff. And so I love that, this course is helping women to reclaim that piece of them and their identity with their sexual identity, but also who they are as a woman, and feeling that they can, be confident and speak in however they want to, and be that part of themselves. And so that sounds like such a powerful and beautiful, potent course to be able to, and to shift things rather quickly too, because you're using that holistic approach to it as well.
Yeah, definitely. So it starts out with like, okay, week 1, here's your assignment for the week. Look in the mirror and start to identify the things that you like about what you see.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
That's a hard
really
one.
Hard.
It's a hard one. And so I balance that out with like, well, and here's the technique for giving yourself a massage every single day. And you can do that. And like, because like I said, we can think about it, but gotta bring it into your body. Right. Love it.
Like, and like connect with yourself in that way, especially if you're in the mindset and your body's changed so much, and you're in this place where maybe loving what you look like and is not so easy, and then it can impact like loving yourself, like you lose pieces of that too. So reconnecting to your body, just even in a simple like a touch, in a way that's loving and caring, and of yourself, is so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's foundational. It's one of those foundational Ayurvedic practices. That was one of the first things I learned. Lovingly touch yourself every single day. Do it. You're not going to lose anything by like doing some of that.
Yeah.
Every day, right?
I love that. Yeah.
Give your hair some volume.
Exactly. I mean, we can all use more volume.
I mean, for real.
Come on.
For real. Well, and then I bring yoga into it too. And it's like, okay, so your body is going to change over the course of the years. Thank God for that, right?
Yeah.
And so here's how to like tap into a sense of pleasure by just sitting there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's so amazing. Like I like listening, even just like those first few steps. It sounds so easy, right? And it's not even doing that much, but it is really like this huge mindset shift too. And especially if you're in a place where it's like, I just don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I can do that. So I love like, one, making it easy, making it simple, making these things tangible for women to try it and see and like find those places again.
Yes. And then it's healing also, because
so healing.
Like the truth is that the 1 out of 3 women have pain in their sexual past.
Sure. It's
right?
really sad, but
it's sad, and so I have to address that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It has to be addressed. And so I say, if you've got something that you want to release, here is exactly how you do it. And please, in fact, go light it on fire.
Yes.
Right? And then when you're done with that, burn it. Be done with it. Yeah. And then when you're done with that, come back and let's celebrate something amazing from your past.
Yes. I love that so much.
Do you have a story? Everybody's got a story where they're like, yeah, I nailed that one.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I just love that so much. You're right. It is so healing. It's like this really beautiful, like, it's just this like, I don't know how to explain it. All I can see is like this dancing, like this beautiful merging of your, you know, your soul and your body and your, like every piece of yourself healing and connecting back into who you are as yourself, like as this wholeness of being a woman, and yeah, being a mom too, and yeah, being, you know, whatever your name is. Like it's just really this beautiful, 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 beautiful process. So I love it. It sounds so powerful, and I'm sure it's been so incredible to go through that with these women that you're guiding and leading along the way. Because of course, you know, you've done this for yourself, but to be able to lead and watch these women transform their lives and really heal pieces that maybe have not been healed for a long time.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of my favorite comments that I got was somebody said, I've been so attached to the pain of these
Mm,
past experiences that I've just disregard the really awesome stuff that happened. So for
yeah.
her, it was like she didn't even need to burn up the old stuff. She just needed to stop giving it attention.
Yeah.
And she was like, I suddenly feel way more confident
That's
just
amazing.
recalling these things.
Yes.
Mhm.
And shifting out of this place of staying in the pain.
Yes.
I find that, you know, with people that I work with, and um even for my own self, that emotionally I stayed in pain for so long because I knew what it felt like. It didn't
Mhm.
feel good, but it was easier than like, even though when good things and happy things would come in, and there was beautiful moments, it's easier to stay in what you know sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and to think like, oh, if I even give the other piece, this pleasure piece, or this, you know, exciting or beautiful or wonderful celebratory piece, like it's just going to end in pain anyway, so why do that?
Right. Right.
So I
Right.
love that she gave you that feedback, because that is powerful, so
Yeah.
powerful.
It's very, very, very powerful. Yeah.
Oh,
And when I get messages like that, I'm like, yes,
yes.
yes, yes. That's why we're here.
Oh my God, I love that
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
you're welcome. Okay, so I just have a couple more questions,
Okay.
and then you can feel free to share whatever you'd like.
Okay.
So I'd love for you to share any piece of advice or wisdom, um, for people who are on, you know, a healing journey or evolving in their life in some area. What is there one piece of advice, and it can be cliche or not, that maybe you've heard or you share with your clients regularly, that would, you know, you would like to leave here today?
Yes.